revelation. And I would put that in that category. That's my conjecture.
From Steel 7.
Now,
Is there any, so is there any evidence to support how much time passes between each trumpet?
no, we don't know it. And we cannot conjecture on any of that. Except when it references, it just says that after this, that's all we can go by. We don't know, except the whole thing is going to be 7 years. We believe that, the 70th week of Daniel's.
So it could be one per year, both?
Yeah, but here's the thing I said before. You were not here this morning, were you? Were you? Okay. Well, anyway, I said this morning, yeah, I know that. I said this morning that God doesn't go by the calendar on the wall. So you can't think in those type of ways. You just can't do it. Not with this book. Now, the fourth trumpet. Now let's go to the fifth trumpet is chapter 9. Then the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star falling from heaven to the earth, to him who was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit like the smoke of a great furnace. So the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. Wow. Then out of the smoke locusts came up upon the earth, and to them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. Has anybody ever been bit by a scorpion?
No.
You haven't?
Thanks, God.
Like you,
I haven't.
the way you ask. You have
Well, it
one?
depends which kind of scorpion too.
Well, the little scorpion under the rock or
I
something.
think I'd be sting, but yes.
But as a boy, I picked up something, a rock or a brick, and out came this scorpion, that tail, and got me. It burned.
Well,
Was not poison.
It burned.
guess what? In San Antonio, when I used to live over there, one morning I went in this is behind the laundry, and I just saw there was a little dark over there. I saw something on the floor, and this is what I do, when I see something on the floor, just pick him up, And I was almost to touch, and I said, "Oh, what is this?" And when I looked over, there was scorpion. But this is what I see over here. So the first half, the first 3 years and a half of the tribulation is coming from the devil. The second tribulation is coming from God, right?
Say that
Because
again.
the first part of the tribulation, the horses, everything is from the devil, right? The second part, the great tribulation, is from God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could, let me think just a minute.
Because from
I can see that rationale.
because from
Sure.
chapter 8.
Yeah, one from the Antichrist, the other from the real Christ.
Yes. So
I can see that. I had not thought of that, but I can see that. Yeah. Because the first, he's really going to make hay. He's going to do good. Everybody's going to love him. Remember, nobody challenges him. He gets by the murder because he brings peace. Remember the Bible said, when they say peace and safety. And that's what he's going to have. That's his message. Then sudden destruction comes upon the face of the earth, which is the great tribulation. That would be a good, the more I think about that, I think that would be a good observation. Well, anyway, about the locusts coming out and the scorpions, they were commanded not to harm the grass of the earth, or any green thing, or any tree, but only those men who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. And they were not given authority to kill them, but to torment them for 5 months. Now there's your time frame, there's your calendar item. 5 months. Their torment was like a torment of a scorpion when it strikes a man. In those days, men will seek death and will not find it. They will desire to die, and death will flee from them. The shape of the locust was like horses prepared for battle. On their heads were crowns of something like gold, and their faces were like the faces of men. They had hair like women's hair, and their teeth were like lions' teeth. They had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the sound of chariots with many horses running into battle. They had tails like scorpions, and there were stings in their tails. Their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon. but in Greek it has the name Apollyon. One woe is past, behold, still two more woes are coming after these things. You know, someone has said that that could also be is it called biological warfare? Like the gases. Again, self-destruct, people fighting against each other. Because where I have to be cautious, and all do, is, see, we think of the scorpion as a physical being. I did. But see, as he got it further into the description, it reminded me, is that I think there's more to it than that. I don't think it's the physical, as painful as that was. I think it's something far worse than that. And yet we know that some gases that they have in warfare, the people die. But then some don't. They have whelps on their bodies and they put them in the hospital. He's in Syria. Well, let's look at verse 13, the sixth trumpet. Then the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God, which is in heaven, saying to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, release the four angels who are abound at the great river Euphrates. Now we know where that's at, and that's in reference on up there earlier to the angels, the four angels that I read from. So the four angels who had been prepared for an hour and day and month and year were released to kill a third of mankind. Now the number of the army of the horsemen was 200 million, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision. Those who sat on them had breastplates of fiery red, hyacinth, blue, and sulfur yellow, and heads of the horses were like the heads of lions, and out of their mouths came fire, smoke, and brimstone. I always thought of that as an army tank. That just reminded me of an army tank, the military. By these three plagues, a third of mankind was killed by the fire and the smoke and the brimstone which came out of their mouth. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails are like serpents, having heads, and with them they do harm. But the rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of the works of their hands, that they should not. See, what does that verse imply? That verse implies that they could have repented.
Exactly. That's what that is.
So there's another argument. They can, if they choose, get saved. They would not worship demons and idols of gold, silver, brass, stone, and wood, which can neither see, nor hear, nor walk. And they did not repent of their murders, of their sorceries, or their sexual immorality, or their theft. Then we got another parenthetic statement, chapter. I'm trying to think of something here.
So these verses say it's not many people are gonna be saved after the rapture. These two verses, 20, 21.
It doesn't say what?
These two verses, it's saying it's not gonna be many people who's gonna be saved.
But when you use the word many, you don't know what that verse means in comparison to the whole population.
Yes.
You know, you have to be careful, but that would be a correct observation.
Yeah, we just.
In comparison, it will
Yes.
not be many. And I'm afraid that's true. I'm afraid that's true. I'm wanting to see what the time is at 2 o'clock. Can you give me something of a time structure for you all? What would you?
I know you're pretty interested in Revelation, right?
Yeah, but I have to get home too.
So you tell us when you need to go.
So I can.
Then about 3.
After 3.
Okay. Then I was going to say if it's 3 and it's right now what 10 after? Almost 10 after 2, 3. I thought that maybe I could go on, or I thought in these time frame that it might be that we may need to now be selective and select some passages rather than go just like I'm going right now. And as an example, I think we should take a look at chapter 19. I'm sorry, before that, chapter 13.
What is this?
What chapter is that? Chapter 13, I want to take a look at. Chapter 19, I want to take a look at.
Who's
Chapter
the-
20, I want to take a look at.
I just have a question about the chapter 12. Who's the woman in the first verse?
Now you're moving into some stuff. I would be hesitant to say, I would be hesitant to say. But I would look it up and see what these other sources say.
Some say it's America that works for the.
No, I've never heard that, but I would not say that is the case. But I understand what you are saying.
Lebanon?
Yeah.
Let's hold that question for some of these others that are very factual.
I think it's Israel.
Israel is probably where I would lean toward. But I want to be careful.
What chapter are you going on?
The one
Let's look at
that-
13.
Very good.
it has
13.
I'm curious
a
how.
command.
13, let's go to 13.
Yeah.
I want you to,
If you look from the Old Testament perspective, from the biblical perspective, that is Israel. Because you have the
Stars.
yeah, you have also the dream of Joseph.
and the male child that came out,
Yeah.
which is the
Yeah.
Jesus. Yes, let's look at 13. Then I stood on the sand of the sea. That probably is the Mediterranean Sea, the Great Sea. And
This is what I find interesting in the book of Raymond Culpeper. He says that the key word to the book is the sea. He says that we're overwhelmed by symbols and pictures, allegories and scenarios. The best way to approach Revelation is from an assumption that this book is deep, but it does not have to be difficult. There is a way to understand it. The word sea is mentioned 22 times in this book. Revelation may be compared to an ocean. It does not matter how deep water is, as long as one remembers to keep his head above the surface. And by the way, I went and I picked up the book. It's written